Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me once again for another Dominions 5 adventure. The next episode in the world-famous, probably, definitely weirdly entertaining Accidental Ascension series. This is Accidental Ascension 5, the late age version. There are 3 games being played. Early, middle, and late age. Now, at the current time, late age is full and just starting. Middle age is full and has, I believe, already started and rolled a tick or two. I'm sorry, early age is. Middle age has not actually filled up yet, so if you want to get into an Accidental Ascension game, now is your chance. Go to Althea's Dominion server, which is linked in the description, should be, and sign up for AA5M, the middle age version, and I believe there are several spots still available. But in any case, this is Accidental Ascension 5, late age. In this game, we were assigned a random nation, or rather we were assigned 3 random nations to choose from, and then we were assigned a random god, and then we were let loose on an unsuspecting world, and so I ended up with Bogarus. You may realize that I just did a basic nation analysis for Bogarus. That was, that made some sense. So, we've got, in this game, we've got Pythium, Man, Ulm, Jomon, Abyssia, Midgard, Utgard, Bogarus, Patala, Gath, Raga, Xibalba, Phlegra, Atlantis, and Erythia. So lots and lots of great nations in here. All of the shitty nations are here as well. And we're going to see how it goes. So, welcome to snowy Bogarus. Rincewind, the god of Bogarus, will lead us, and this is Rincewind. Rincewind is an Allfather, and he's not exactly ideal for Bogarus. He has Air, Astral, and Death. Astral 5, which isn't really enough Astral to be safe. Death 4, Air 2. He's got some protection, he's got some hit points, so he can technically expand, or at least he could if he had a decent bless, but he doesn't. He has decay weapons, magic resistance, and penetration bonus, which is nice for Sacred Mages. I may actually be able to use that for my, for some 5-fold angels in the later game, but currently it doesn't really help me all that much. Because Hleasley with that bless are not going to accomplish much of anything, to be honest. Rincewind, he who confuses the way, the shadow of death, trying to banish all of the pretenders and become a true god. So, here we are, we're starting. This is an improved Dominion starts map. So everyone is equidistant. There are, on this map, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 competing gods, including my ex-wife, good old Christine. We've seen Christine before in a couple of different incarnations. Mufasa, Pindar, the Immortal Immortals, this guy, a typical zoo, the second Paris Accords, we've also seen the Paris Climate Accords, Doran, Boop, Galaxy Brain, Wolf Dad, Sleepy Ho, and nothing personal, kid. Plus, of course, good old Rincewind. There is actually another Odin on this map as well, which is sort of hilarious. So, let's kick things right off, shall we? We start off with a Bogarusian scout and a Voivod. We are going to make the Voivod our prophet. Our starting army is pretty shit. We start off with a bunch of Voy archers and a bunch of Peshtsi spearmen, which are not good units, but we'll do what we can. Unfortunately, scales-wise, our scales are not great. We start off with Cold 3, Growth 3, Magic 1, Misfortune, I think this is actually Misfortune 2, and Sloth 2. So as a result of having Sloth, our resources are garbage, and our resources being garbage means we can't actually recruit many of the Malaya Druzhina. We may never be able to recruit many of the Malaya Druzhina. Once we complete our cap circle, we do have 5 provinces in the cap circle, so we should be able to get, like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 per turn, but not many. The Malaya Druzhina are going to be relatively few and far between, which is really sad because they're by far our best unit. In fact, our basic infantry is also going to be kind of few and far between because they also require a bunch of resources. So, like, I'm looking at this kind of like wondering what I can do. I can recruit a couple of Greed Druzhina, which is fine, I guess, but they're just gonna race ahead of the infantry and get killed. So I think my strategy for right now has to be spamming Voy Spearmen. I can get, oh god, that's sad. I can get 7 Voy Spearmen. They have javelins, so they can provide a little bit more punch to this Peshtsi Spearman squad. But I also have no mercenaries, so like expansion might not be happening. It might just not happen. In terms of research, I do have Alteration 1, Construction 1, and Enchantment 1, which is fine. Rincewind is a pretty decent researcher, so he can start off by researching. We're going to hit Thaumaturgy 2, and then we're going to grab... either we're going to grab Alteration, Evocation 2, or we're going to book it straight down to Conjuration 5. Haven't decided yet. Haven't decided which just yet. But we are going to recruit a Master of Names. Actually... yeah, let's cancel one of our guys here. We can get a Voy Archer instead. So we'll start double recruiting Masters of Names in order to try and get a jump on the research thing. In the meantime, boy, it may actually be best to start just recruiting Grid Druzhina, to be honest. Like, I can recruit 2 Grid Druzhina. It'll take in a couple of turns I'll be able to mass up, you know, like 6 or 8 of these guys, but oof, this is going to be harsh, bro. I could get 3 Peshtsi Axemen or 3 Spearmen and 2 Archers. Yikes. Yike-a-ronies. Okay. Instead, I'm actually going to do this. So I'm going to recruit a mage. We'll recruit a scout. But I'm not going to recruit any of my national troops because I'm going to hope that next turn there will be mercenaries available that I can pile all my cash into in order to get some expansion going. In fact, I'm actually going to cancel the mage. We're going to double recruit scouts, and that'll be it. This is a gamble. It's gambling that mercenaries will actually be available, but by saving all of my money, I should hopefully, cross my fingers, knock on wood, be able to get a mercenary group, which is, I think, the only way, unless one of these provinces is just hilariously weak. I think that's the only way I see myself actually expanding, turn 2. Because, like, Peshtsi Spearmen are indie units, and they're not even high-quality indie units. Similarly, Voy Archers are indie units and not good ones, effectively. So, I don't anticipate this army, this army probably cannot defeat 30 random indies, because 30 random infantry indies is likely to include indie heavy infantry, which can beat them. I can, however, bring Rincewind with the army, so Rincewind plus that army can probably expand a couple of times at least. And Rincewind can cast Twist Fate and Skeletal Body on himself, and then he can attack rear, so he can hop to the back of the enemy, while these guys hold an attack and hold and fire to draw attention. So the goal there would be for the enemy army to come after these guys, then Rincewind jumps into the back. He has Glamour, so he has the Glamour effect in combat, so, and he has a couple of Dire Wolves, so yeah, I should be able to expand once or twice, hopefully into one of these provinces to get some resources so I can start recruiting Malaya Druzhina as quickly as possible. I could recruit some priests. Some priestly. That wouldn't be a bad idea, probably. I could recruit 4 of them for almost nothing. And just kind of shove them in with the army where their morale will... oh, they're just gonna die, though. They'll just die. Ugh. Okay, no, I won't. I will recruit things, I guess, just in case. In case I can accomplish something. With the Drain, yeah, I definitely want the Master of Names to start off with. Okay, we'll do this. We'll go with that. Should be able to get a little bit of expansion going, and then once assuming we can take something with high resources, 33 resources ain't terrible. As long as we can get up to where we can recruit 2 or 3 Malaya Druzhina per turn, then we'll be in some business, because, like, 12 Malaya Druzhina can probably take an average indie province, at least with good scripting. So, okay, we'll see how it goes. But in any case, this is going to be interesting. If we manage to push into the mid or late game, as I said when talking about Bogarus, if I manage to push into the mid or late game, then I'm pretty solid. Like, I've got a lot of strategies, a lot of magic potential. If I can't do that, then I'm a little bit sunk. I mean, obviously, if I get killed in the early game, then I've gotten killed in the early game, you know. But I'd like to grab Conjuration 3 pretty early and start summoning Firebirds. And I'm just going to pour a whole bunch of Fire Gems into summoning Firebirds. I'm going to try to make the quote-unquote Firebird economy work for me. And we'll see how it goes. So, in any case, that's turn 1. And we'll, you know what? I think this time I'm going to leave the enemy gods a mystery. We'll talk about them as we encounter them. As we encounter other factions, I will reveal their god and discuss them. But for right now, strategically, I mean, geographically, what I'd really like would be, I'd like to take this throne, I'd like to take that, plains, and I'd definitely like to secure both of these as rapidly as possible for the resources. So I don't have a one direction that I really want to be pushing in at the moment, so we'll just kind of see what develops. I don't, I think, have any... That is actually a cave. That might be a large province because it has that the little doohickeys in it. That's a large province, so that's probably going to be rich. So I'd like to take Zox. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 2. Alright, folks, it's turn 2. It looks like we do have a couple expansion options, thank God. This province here, specifically, has only militia and archers in it, and this one down here has light infantry and crossbowmen. Now, this one doesn't have all that many resources, but it is in my dominion. Yeah, I'm actually going to go down there. So we're going to send Rincewind and Pozvidst the Prophet down this way to take Zaburia. They should be able to do it pretty easily, holding and firing with archers, holding and attacking with my Peshtsi Spearmen, and then Rincewind will buff himself a little bit and then jump to the back. Meanwhile, in terms of recruitment, I'm actually going to start recruiting Gridruzhina, I think. Because they are useful. They're decent in melee. They're actually better in melee than any of my other units by a good bit. But I can't quite afford the Malaya Druzhina yet. Incidentally, by the way, I think last turn I spent some time talking about having drain scales, and I don't know why I did that, because I do actually have Magic 1. So my first Master of Names is giving me 18 research points. And yeah, doing good. I'm actually going to cancel that guy so that I can start... yeah, so I can start double recruiting, because I will also need Astropelagists. And so those 28 resources I will spend on... let's say one Peshtsi City Guard and one Voice Spearman who has a Javelin. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. So, we got that going on. Next turn we should be able to recruit more and more cavalry, and we'll just kind of work our way around-ish. There are mercenaries, there are Dante's Stingers, but I'm pretty sure I don't have a hope of getting them, although, well, actually, I'll tell you what. If we cancel the Master of Names... Triple Scout recruitment, and we're gonna bid like all our money on these guys, because you know what, worth it, worth it. If we can get them, absolutely worth spending 444 gold on it, because spending 444 gold, I mean, my problem is I can't spend 444 gold on troops. I literally can't. I run out of resources way faster than that, because right now I have fucking 58 resources. So I mean, if I could spend over 400 gold on mediocre troops right now, I 100% would, because that 400 gold will enable me to take this province, if I get them next turn, as well as that one, and then hopefully also this province. If I can do that, then I'll be in pretty decent shape, but we'll kind of see how it goes. In any case, that's all I got for this turn. Research-wise, we are going to hit Thaumaturgy level 1 in just a couple turns here, which will give us Communions. Yakim is actually a good random. He's blood, so I have a blood mage right here. Although, I mean, I can just recruit occultists when I want blood, so it is what it is. But that's turn 2. I'll see y'all on turn 3. Okay, turn 3. Couple of interesting events. First of all, we expanded. Zaburia went well. So, we had our pile of Peshtsi Spearmen up front, our pile of Voy Archers behind. We had Rincewind behind them with his puppos. And the troops went in. Lots of arrow fire, not accomplishing much, but that's okay. And then Rincewind jumped in the back and started stabbing fools. He has a high enough attack and defense skill and some prot, so, like, it's okay. It's working, especially because he does have 3 attacks, all of which are pretty decent quality. So he managed to wipe out the commanders, and the enemy routed. Now, the Peshtsi Spearmen up front here did you know, they fought in the way that I anticipated, i.e. not well. And they did lose quite a few of them in the process and take a whole bunch of damage, but that's fine, because I don't care about their lives. So, I lost 7 of my Peshtsi Spearmen. I can probably expand again, possibly twice more, before I have to do something about this. And we got Kaptsirko the Bogatyr. Now, the Bogatyrs are they're a hero, but they're a multi-hero, and in vanilla there are not many multi-heroes. In Worthy Heroes, these guys are slightly buffed. Normally they don't have a magic sword, they just have a regular sword. But the Bogatyrs are, or the Bogatyri should be, are heroic knights, defenders of the faith, so they just pop up sometimes. They have really good stats, high protection, very high defense skill, and good strength and attack skill, and superhuman hit points as well. Plus they're Holy 2 and Inspirational 120 leadership, so they're really great to get for free. I'm moving him over to join the attack on Spires of Ascension in an effort to save some of my troops from dying. He's set to attack rear. I don't know that he necessarily needs to be back here, hold, and attack rear. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'll set him right down like that. And I'll set him to attack closest. But I'll put him kind of behind so that hopefully he'll hit the enemy at roughly the same time as the Peshtsi do. And take some heat off them while Rincewind jumps to the back. Meanwhile, I am going to go back to recruiting actual units. I did not get those mercenaries. Dante Stingers were hired away by Man. Yes, by the Towers of Chelms. So, there is another mercenary unit, Victor's Villains. Unfortunately, it's awful. I mean, 10 villains is just god-awful. I am going to still put in a bid for them, just because, like, I can. But it's not much of a bid because I don't care much if I get them or not. This province, Spires of Ascension up here, does have a bunch of resources, so we are definitely going to take it so that we can start recruiting more Malaya Druzhina. Right now I'm recruiting 1 Malaya, 1 Grid, and 2 Voice Spearmen, although I may be able to do... Yeah, I can do 3 Grid Druzhina instead. And then 1 Voice Spearman, so that's better. Okay. So that's the plan. Oh, also in terms of recruitment, we're recruiting an Astropelagist and then a Master of Names. We're going to alternate between those two, basically. Masters of Names for the research, and Astropelagists for the hot air action. Actually, you know what? Given that I'm just going to go straight Astropelagists. It saves a little bit of money, and they're good enough researchers that my research will ramp up pretty quick. So, next turn I'll hit Thaumaturgy level 1, should hit Thaumaturgy level 2 pretty quickly after that, and what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to take this province, and then maybe that province if it's lightly defended, or my army can go back here, grab more troops, and then go take Bogarwold and Zox. And if I have to wait, if I don't, like, expand very quickly, that's okay. Like, getting any expansion at all and solidifying my borders will be a reasonable start for Bogarus in this situation. So, that is the turn, and I'll see y'all in turn 4. Okay, folks, turn 4. We did take Spires of Ascension, and in fact, we took no casualties taking Spires of Ascension. It was pretty nice. So we've got these militia charging forward as well, some heavy infantry, and some fairly heavily armored archers with 3 commanders. We started hitting the militia pretty hard right at the start, including those Voy archers actually did a little bit of work for once. And our Prophet especially did quite a bit of work on top of our Direwolves. The Direwolves died, but they broke up the formation a little bit because these guys, having attacked, could not advance. So, when the Peshtsi Spearmen came in, these militia actually routed before they arrived, and then these heavy infantry were kind of isolated. Meanwhile, back here, Rincewind the Allfather jumped in, killed one of the commanders, and started attacking the others and the archers. He's actually very hard to hurt because he has the little bit of prot, high hit points. He has Twist Fate, so his first hit is ignored, and he also has the Glamour. So the Peshtsi Spearmen came in, as well as Kaptsirko the Bogatyr, and Kaptsirko just absolutely mauled a guy with his first hit, the other 2 ran for it, and at this point, the enemy army is basically in full rout. So, Rincewind back here just repelling the hell out of the enemy with his spear, and yeah, take the province, no casualties, very, very nice. We purchased Victor's Villains. There is another mercenary company available, Grom's Brave Breaker, with 30 men. He demands 150 pounds of gold. I have 565 treasury, so at this point I kind of have to make the decision whether I want to hire mercenaries or start a fort next turn? And the answer is I want to start a fort next turn. Specifically, I want to start a fort here next turn. We have a mine of superior iron producing 60 resources. Resources in the Spires of Ascension are quite good. When I build a fort there, they will jump up, and I'll be able to start recruiting Malaya Druzhina from that fort as well, which will increase my production significantly. Speaking of them, I am actually now producing Malaya Druzhina in the capital. Now that I have these two provinces, my resources are sufficient with my citadel, which has a very high administration, to start pumping them out. So I'm getting 4 Malaya Druzhina this turn. This province I am attacking actually with a very small force. Pozvidz and his infantry and archers can't make it, but Rincewind and Kapsirko both can. So what's happening here is Rincewind, Kapsirko, these mercenary villains who I intend to die, and 3 Grid Druzhina are all coming down here. The Grid Druzhina will join Kapsirko in charging to attack, Rincewind will jump to the back, and these 10 villains will basically just shoot their short bows and kind of cause a little bit of a nuisance to the enemy. What I'm going to need, I'm actually going to need to offset those guys a little bit so they don't get hung up on the villains. But the goal here will be for the cavalry to charge in and do the majority of the work. And since there's 4 of them together, they shouldn't be too badly destroyed, especially since Rincewind will be jumping into the back. Kapsirko has very high morale. Unfortunately, the Grid Druzhina are not going to have very high morale because currently they're being led by a mage. So it is what it is. Izyaslav here will also be there, well in the back, trying not to die. This should be a fairly easy target, so should be able to take him out without too much trouble. Grid Druzhina do have enough armor to deal with arrows, and of course, Kapsirko has better armor and a kite shield, so he should be fine as well. And Rincewind, of course, is fairly resilient to arrows by virtue of having glamour. So, that's the plan. Then these 4 Malaya Druzhina will be picked up by Pozvidz, and then we will move them over to attack, we'll gather everyone to attack Bogarwold, which is mainly militia, so we should be able to take it out without too much trouble. We do have Pythium right over there. Good old Pythium. You hate to see it. You really do. But we should be able to handle it. And over here we've got Utgard. I really, really don't want to get into a fight with Utgard. That would be my least favorite thing to do. We'll see how it goes. Now that I've started Malaya Druzhina production, I'm in a much more solid state than I was. I'm succeeding, I think. As long as I can keep up 1 province per turn expansion, I'll be okay. We have Onyx Amazons up there, which are pretty neat, although I don't really need them. Both of these wastes are occupied by hella barbarians, so I really don't want to fight. That's really kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, first of all, having these wastes right next door is really kind of a pain in the ass, and also having them occupied by tons of barbarians is a problem. But I really, really want to get Zox before Pythium does, so I'm actually going to contact Pythium and tell him, but it'll have to be next turn because this turn is about to roll, I think. In any case, that's the turn. Research-wise, we're going to grab Thaumaturgy level 2, and then head up Evocation to get Lightning Bolt, and should be a good time. I think this fight I'm pretty confident about. This fight, actually a little bit sketchy, but I think if I have enough cavalry, it should be doable. So, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all on turn 5. Alright, turn 4. First of all, we got to see one of the neighbors. Utgard has moved in. This is a very standard Utgardish expansion party. He's got Jotun Javelinists, he's got Garmherdings, he's got some random human troops. His bless, of course, is... So, Utgard's god, actually, I say of course, I haven't actually shown you any of the gods. So, Utgard's bless, death weapons, undead leadership. That's because his god is a death, I think, 10 Raven of the Underworld, which I hear he expanded blind with turn 1, which is, I mean, that's a gutsy move. Props to him if he actually did that. That's sort of hilarious. The crossbows, unfortunately, are firing at the guy in the back lines instead of the giants, so they're not accomplishing a whole lot, but since his giants don't have any real bless that helps them defensively, he does actually lose a couple of Garmherdings here. So there's that, I suppose. The Garmherdings, of course, the giants just hack through the defenders there, but he lost 2 Garmherdings, a Huskarl, and a Jotun Hurler, so that's actually kind of expensive for him. I mean, Garmherdings, that's 110 golden Garmherdings right there. Not too shabby. And I, meanwhile, attacked Ard with my various units. I've got my villains up front to soak the damage. I've got my Bogatyr and Grid Druzhina off to the side, and I have my god in the back along with an Astropelagist who can't really do anything. So, the Puppos go in, accomplish nothing. The Grid Druzhina and Bogatyr charge, get hung up on the militia. The Grid Druzhina do get cut down, but they hold long enough for God to get back there and kill the commanders. And so the enemy heavy infantry unfortunately routes into the Grid Druzhina, but Capcirco just hacks right through him. I don't think he's ever taken a hit. He is solid. Especially, like, look at how he's repelling these guys. With attack skill 16 on his Hero's Blade and his Lance, the Hero's Blade is actually longer than a broadsword, so it can repel, which means he's getting 2 repel attempts against each of those attacks. And it just makes him practically invincible to these little infantry here. So, yeah, he's got 9 kills, never taken a scratch. Bogatyr are pretty good stuff. So as you can see here, we lost all the villains pretty much as planned. We did lose 2 of our Grid Druzhina, unfortunately, but we wiped all the enemies out, and our Bogatyr is getting pretty good. We also got a few gems in Zeburia, which is very, very nice. Capcirco has an experience star. He will hit another one at experience 50, if I recall correctly, and should get into, hopefully he'll get into the Hall of Fame at some point. Yeah, there's only 3 people in the Hall of Fame right now, so hopefully Capcirco will get there and we'll get something very, very nice. We're moving everyone to attack Bogarwold. Bogarwold has a much larger army, but it's still just militia, archers, and light infantry, so I'm hoping we'll be able to clean it up. We've got 4 Malaya Druzhina, plus our Peshtzi Spearmen, and 1 Klist. 1 Klist, I should say. I have to keep that pronunciation in mind. We've got Capcirco, we've got Rincewind, we've got Victor, who is just going to hold and attack from in front of everybody. He will be the first to die, and that's fine. He does have Valor, so his morale is actually surprisingly high. But we're going to sacrifice him entirely, and I think we should be able to clear that up without too much trouble, and maybe we can even take Zox. Probably not, but maybe. Here's hoping. We do actually have the opportunity to possibly recruit a Knyaz. And if we were to recruit a Knyaz with 20 map move, Malaya Druzhina have 14. No, because it's a swamp and that's a forest, so it takes 33 movement points to get to Zox. Damn. So we won't be able to send reinforcements, unfortunately. Some may be wondering why I don't just leave those up all the time. It's because I don't like them. Okay. I could recruit a Skopets, but I think instead I'm just going to go for a... Well, Skopets are stealthy, and they might be a Blood Mage. So yeah, we'll recruit a Skopets. And we are starting our first Palisade over here in Spires of Ascension. We're doing that because Spires of Ascension has resources, and so we can recruit Malaya Druzhina from there as well. I've talked about that before, so we're just firing that off as quick as we can. Izyaslav over here is just site searching. And we are researching. We'll hit Thaumaturgy level 2 in 2 turns, and after that we'll try to rush down Evocation. Need to have Evocation level 2 by turn, like, 10, if not before. But the good news is we've talked to Utgard, and Utgard has agreed to a non-aggression pact. So, we should be okay. Now, why they would do this? Utgard rushing me could work, potentially. This army is reasonably scary, but as you saw, this army does actually take attrition from regular human independence. And Malaya Druzhina hit a lot harder than regular human independence. So, if this army were to come in against me, I could recruit Malaya Druzhina and then a few Malaya Druzhina and spam out a whole bunch of, like, Voy Spearmen or something to back them up. Or Voy Axemen, maybe. Anyway, pretty cheap units. I actually do have quite a few resources at this point, so I could stop this expansion party. And losing this expansion party early on would be a pretty significant blow to Utgard. So I think, basically, he's okay with making a non-aggression pact right now just because he doesn't actually want to come this way. He doesn't want to fight me unless he knows he has another ally. The guy on the other side of me is actually Pythium, and he doesn't know who's on the other side of me, because we got to see the map beforehand, but this map has random starts on it. So we know where the starts are, we just don't know who is in them. So Pythium has really good infantry and could also probably beat me in an early war, But I think it's just, I think Utgard is following the strategy where, because notice, this is like a straight line. I think what he's doing is, I think his capital is here. I haven't actually looked at the map in detail, so who knows. But I think what he's doing is he's pushing expansion parties out straight in the cardinal directions until he hits someone, and then just moving sideways at this point. He's trying to carve out for himself as big a chunk of territory as possible, make agreements with everybody around him so that he can fill in the gaps that he leaves, and then end up with a big, big pile of land so that he can pick his war. It's a clever strategy if you can pull it off. The question is if he can pull it off. My neighborhood, unfortunately, is just so fucking nasty. Hobergdorf. God, I wish I had Hobergdorf. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it, but I'll definitely take Bogarwold. And then depending on what I see, I may either go down to Ogden Merks or up to Zox. I'm hoping that all my Maria Druzhina and most of my infantry will survive, and so I'll be able to go straight into one of these two. Because if I can, my ideal next turn would be commander moves down here with the Maria Druzhina, and turn while I take Ogden Merks, and the turn after that we take Hobergdorf. That would be great. Or taking Zox. Either of these would be fantastic, probably. But we'll just see what the future brings, I guess. So, I've sent out feelers to Pythium, haven't heard anything from them yet. Got a non-aggression pact with Utgard, and we're in okay shape. 4 provinces on turn 5 ain't nothing to write home about, but I think I'll be able to end up with like 12 or 13, because my expansion will speed up. You know, a couple turns worth of Malaya Druzhina can clear most independent provinces without too much trouble. They can fight barbarians, actually, reasonably effectively, and so I should be able to push out and take, like, these 3 without much trouble, and also at least these down here. I'll hopefully end up with Salt Plains and Zox as well, and if I can get those, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that would be an okay starting position for turn 12, but we'll see how we can do. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 6.